this way. Hi. So I started at RLT back in about 2004. I'd always been a theater lover. I grew up in New York where, all the local commercials were about what's on Broadway and, the lights and the stories. And as I got to be an adult and I had some income, I could actually go see shows. My daughter also started going to shows with us. Raleigh Little Theater had a great youth program for her age group. And one day they had this backstage night. And I was like, hey, we'll take her back behind the scenes. She can see kind of the workings of a theater. What I didn't know at the time was it was a volunteer call. It wasn't just about seeing the show, it was about recruiting. And I put my name in. I was like, yeah, sure. I dabbled in high school because everybody had to have an extracurricular activity. And it didn't really catch me at that time so much, but we'll see what happens. And about a year later, I finally got up the nerve to try something. Cinderella, the annual Christmas show, was desperate for people to push the house on and off, on and off. I'm like, I think I can push a house on and off. Why not? Well, I went, and it was so infectious that I didn't stop. I was back show after show after show. My daughter got involved, even at the age of 10. She was helping build sets and run crews backstage. And I was having a great time. I learned how to push sets. I learned how to do quick changes for costumes. And the artistic director at the time, Haskell Fitzsimmons, asked me to step up my game a little bit and stage manage. I was like, okay, I can maybe do that. And I spent another year learning about things. And I was like, I can handle this. But there were times where, they're like, well, why don't you go up and help read a line? I'm like, no, nowhere are you ever going to get me on stage. The only time I will be under the stage lights is during focus, right? That's the day where you have just the lighting designer and a couple of volunteers out there, and one person stands, we call them the posing dummy. You just have to stand there on the stage where the actor's going to be, and they'll just shine a light at you, and if you're smart, you wear sunglasses, because the light's on full intensity. So I was like, that's cool, I'm comfortable. I wear my blacks, I've got control, my script never leaves my hands. This is good. But after a few years of watching, I saw some people who had been backstage take those steps up, and I started to think to myself, maybe I could. Maybe I could take a small part in one of those youth shows where it's not so intense drama or anything like that. And right around the time I started feeling the possibility of, well, maybe I could, maybe I should try, RLT offered a whole bunch of acting classes for adults. I was like, okay, here's my chance. So I took Acting 101. And they teach you nothing about acting. It's about using your body. It's about, can you move like you're drunk? Can you move like a cat? Can you move like a, or using your voice. Tongue twisters were a great thing, right? Everybody knows She Sells Seashells by the Seashore. If you think that's bad, try Irish wristwatch 10 times fast. Or the worst one, toy boat, right? Toy boat, toy boat, toy boat, toy boat. You can't do it. So we had a lot of fun in those classes, and then it was the next series of classes when you get into scene study and you start looking at developing characters and working with scene partners. And I took one, and halfway through the class, my partner quit. So I wound up acting with the teacher. And a couple of months later, they had another one, and the teachers recommended, take as many scene study classes as you want, because each one's a little bit different. So I took another scene study class, and same thing happened. All of a sudden, my scene partner disappeared. I'm like, is this a sign? I don't know. But I kept at it. I took an audition class, tried out for a little this and that, and didn't get anything. Of course, I was up against some very experienced people. So, I was like, well, I at least learned something. I gained a little bit of experience to stage manage and work with the actors, understand a little bit of what's in their heads. But then an opportunity came up. There was a play festival, one-act plays, and so I signed up for that. And they were looking for they took just about anybody who signed up, so it was a little bit of a confidence boost there. I was in a two-person, one-act called Learning, which, now that I think about it, was very appropriate because I learned a whole lot about the process. Didn't agree with a lot of the direction the director gave us, but we went for it anyway. And first dress rehearsal, great experience. I get to the theater, get ready, and the director comes up, by the way, your scene partner's out sick. Really? Okay. So they said, okay, so what we'll do is we'll have somebody walk on the stage for you. The stage manager, who hasn't seen rehearsal in a couple of weeks because she's been out somewhere else, doesn't really know the blocking, but she'll try and remember what it was the last time somebody worked with you on stage. And we'll have this person over in the audience who's never heard the script, never seen it. They'll read all the other lines for you. That was an experience. But I didn't give up, and the next day my partner was there, and we got through that weekend, and I'm like, okay, you know, it's been interesting, but nothing to really draw from. But then later that summer, an opportunity came up. Yeah, let's just go for it. I've always loved Shakespeare. And RLT put up a class with their brand new artistic director, Patrick Torres. It was called Much Ado About Shakespeare. It was scene study in Shakespeare. And when I had started thinking about taking acting classes, you know, part of my head was like, I would love to do Shakespeare someday. But the only people who do Shakespeare do it out in the big amphitheater outside. There's no way I'm going to do anything like that. But hey, this is a class. It was announced right around my birthday, so my birthday present to myself. I'm going to at least take some Shakespeare acting and have that experience. So I took the class and we learned about iambic pentameter and just how to get those beats right and how to interpret the language and all of that stuff. How to develop the characters, look for the clues in the language, and I learned a whole lot. And as the class went on, I went from not just, it would be nice to be in a Shakespeare show, but I really, really wanted to be in Much Ado About Nothing when it came to RLT later that next year. And by the end of the class, it was a burning desire. And I just really worked exceptionally hard, put together one of my better auditions, and was really excited to finally get a chance to play Ursula, who was one of the supporting characters. Not just the little background maid, which is where I initially thought I'd end up when I started this task, but to have a role with lines and to really get that process underneath. It was a wonderful experience to see it all from the other side of the stage. You go for costume fittings, and the team down there, I mean, they measure your head, your neck, the circumference of every body part and the length, and custom fit your costumes to you. The rehearsal process I was fairly familiar with because I'd been on the other side. I'd been sitting in the audience watching how the lines go. But what I didn't realize was the challenge you have as you're watching the show and waiting for your turn to come on to see that, oh, wait a minute, I'm not supposed to be watching those guys because you've got a part to learn and you've got to be able to get in sync. You can't get so involved in the plot. It was great feeling the energy of the audience and to feel what that felt like and to understand what my friends and my daughter have loved all the way along the road in terms of their acting enjoyments. So it was definitely a worthwhile experience to let go of that I never can and to just take that chance and say, yeah, I can do that. And that's kind of how I wound up here tonight. Was the random email, hey, we need an extra storyteller. And I'm like, I've never done that before, but what the hell? I can do that. Thank you.
I'm not doing well with this mic stand. Okay, our next storyteller was trained as an architect and then took a dance class and discovered that he was an exceptionally talented hip-hop dancer. He would go on to found a critically acclaimed dance troupe called Black Irish that has performed all over the country. And it's especially impressive that he was just in China yesterday, dancing and performing all through China. And he's here now to tell you a story. Please welcome the hip-hop dancer, Ronnie Ronald West.